And we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Writer's Room. Today we are talking about, again, the story of you. And today I want to go in a bit of a different direction. So I want to talk about the responsibility of being a storyteller and a change maker. As you know, my podcast business brand is called Storytellers and Change Makers. And hi, DK. Hi, DK. Thank you for being here. So, Storytellers and Change Makers, and basically, we help storytellers, or rather, we help change makers to become storytellers. We teach storytelling for change makers, and one of the ways that we do that is with the writer's room, teaching you how to tell your story, get seen, get heard, get paid online. So, well, let's start with two truths and a lie. Actually, the game is two truths and a lie, but this time it is one truth and one lie. I'm going to play you a video. It is actually without sound, but I want you to just watch the video. It's less than a minute, and then after that, I'll come back and I will tell you what you are looking at or what you were looking at. Hopefully, I can find it. There we go. Right. So what you're looking at is two stories. Um, Full disclaimer, I have a client and I visited their clients with this client's warehouse, and had a look around the warehouse, even took some videos. I think this is one of the videos I took on the right hand side. And then when I came back a couple of days later, I went online onto Instagram and I came across this other lady who has a who just launched an African shop. And if you look at the pictures, you'll see that we're looking at the same warehouse. So basically, one of them is true and one of them is a lie. One of them is the real African business and the other one is not. But I want to talk about not just who is who is telling the truth, who is telling a lie, but I want to talk about the power of story based on these two videos. Now, obviously, the answer to the question is already there in the video, where on the right is real, which is nees.co.uk, which is an African food shop, and then the one on the left, which I will not say the name now because I'm not here to publicize them. But basically, what I got to find out was that the lady on the left also had a plan to open an African food store. So she approached um, the the people at Needs and said, "Oh, I want to help you with your promotion." And because of that, she was able to get access to their warehouse, take videos and photos, and then turn around and use those videos and photos from within the Needs um, warehouse, use those photos, and she came and she told a good story. She told a very, very good story. And you know what happened? She was able to launch her shop. I don't know whether the shop is still going on now. She was able to launch her shop. She was able to make money. She was able to get many followers because she told the story. So basically, both stories are effective, but one of them is a lie. And this is what I mean, this is obviously scandalous, that, but that's not what we're about to, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the responsibility that you have as a storyteller. Um, if you're a storyteller, there is so much power in storytelling. And people, when you come online and you say all the things that you say, yes, DK says, I saw it and I was shocked. She was. Yeah. So, I mean, it was really shocking, to see. It was like so blatant, you went, took some videos inside somebody's shop, took videos of yourself opening their fridge and pulling the trolley and everything, and then crafted a beautiful story and said to people, oh, our shop is now open. We are now open today, made a pretty website, told a few stories, some sub stories and all that, got a lot of followers to engage with them. And when their shop opened, under these same false pretenses, they were able to make sales, at least on their first day. They were able to make sales, get a lot of people to sign up, get a lot of people to follow them, and all that. So, like I said, both stories are effective, but this is the point I'm here to make now. To be a storyteller, or when you are somebody who tells stories online, I'm going to remove this now. I can show you later more. When you're a storyteller, you have to have you have to realize that what you have as a storyteller is a lot of power. And as well, I've said it in Spider-Man. I'm sure somebody else said it before then. But as they say, with a lot of story come with with great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. If you have that power as a storyteller, you have to approach your storytelling with a sense of responsibility. I mean, the first basic thing is that you want to have integrity. You want to tell the truth. Both stories, like I said, were effective. Both stories, did what they were supposed to do, give the information, attract the client, get them to buy and all that. But one was true and one was a lie. And the lady is a digital marketer, so she's experienced at this kind of thing in the sense of she's an experienced storyteller, but she used her power not for good but for evil, you know, to, I mean, misrepresent yourself and under those false pretenses, get people to buy from you, spend money from you. And they were expecting to get, their goods from this shiny, nice looking warehouse, which is somebody else's warehouse. So God knows where their goods came from. Whether she bought them, took the bus to Dalton Market, put them in the thing, and posted it to them. None the wiser. So there's that sense of responsibility that we have to have when we are storytellers. Let me look for my notes so that I can just not waffle too much. Let's see. Uh, share screen. Okay, here we are. Okay, so this is, so like I said, we've played our game. I've said that good storytelling can be extremely powerful. The storytellers that we know in, the ones that are easy to remember. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was a wonderful storyteller. Gandhi was a wonderful storyteller. Hitler was a wonderful storyteller. And the thing about storytelling is that when you tell stories, you get people to suspend disbelief because the information that you're trying to pass on to them is wrapped in a story. So it's engages their imagination in such a way that, like I said, they suspend disbelief. They don't bring that. It's not like somebody coming to try and sell you something or trying and advertise something to you. Most of the time, people these days are sort of immune to adverts. You already know what they are. You already know when somebody is trying to advertise something to you or to sell something to you. So you already put up your walls. You already bring. You're already skeptical. You're already cynical. That kind of thing. But if somebody comes with a good story, you know, and engages you, it now becomes so much easier for you to receive and to accept and to engage because we, like I said before in our previous talk, and I'll say it again, human beings are naturally wired for stories. It is that's the way that we understand the world. That's the way that we can engage with the world. That's the way that we use stories to explain things. I mean, there's some things that happen that are like we struggle with them because we can't find a story that makes the thing make sense to us. That's when we now struggle. But if we have a story, a point of reference, you know, then it's it's easier for people to believe the story when they have a point of reference. And this, like I said again, is the kind of power that you hold as a storyteller. Because this is important. You are dealing with people's emotions. You are dealing with their fears. You are dealing with the things that trigger them. You are dealing with their hopes, their dreams. You are dealing with their past. You are dealing with their experiences. When you tell a story, they find a frame of reference, they latch onto it, and they are able to interact with your story in that sense. So, in a way, I remember the first time one of the first people that I learned copywriting from, his name is Ray Edwards. And I remember one of the first things that he said in the very first lesson. He said that this thing that you are learning, copywriting, is a very powerful thing. And you have to, in fact, he made us make a pledge. He said, you have to pledge that you are going to use this power for good. And this is what I'm here to say as well. You have to pledge that as you learn to be a storyteller, as you learn to tell stories, you have to use this power for good. I know I've said it's powerful, and some people you might believe, okay, is it really that powerful? It is. And you have to pledge as you get better with it, as you learn to tell stories, as you learn to use stories to sell, as you learn to use stories to sell yourself, sell your ideas, sell your messages, sell your services, you have to learn to use this power for good. So it says you have to be above reproach. You have to be above reproach in your methods, in your motives, and always have integrity. So, I mean, what I'm saying, like I said, I was just saying, nobody says you have to be an angel, but there is one simple yardstick. Your stories must be true. I remember, when you're talking about email marketing, because email marketing is my wheelhouse. Email marketing is where I my niche that I've carved in this world of storytelling. You can tell stories by email. You can tell. DK says for legal reasons we say allegedly. So those kind of things you have to um approach what you're doing with a really with truly a sense of responsibility. You say allegedly, like I say, oh, allegedly, this lady allegedly stole images from Miss African shop and used those images and videos to allegedly use them to advertise and launch her own African shop. So I have covered myself there. So basically, your story must be true. You can dramatize it for effect. You can put music. You can put background music. Like you can put my daughter says, what's that thing? This tiny violin. How do they do tiny violin? I've forgotten how they do it. Like this tiny violin. You can put the tiny violin in it, to make people feel sorry. You can say the way you feel. How did it feel? Maybe your skin was crawling, your whatever. You can do all those things which make your stories more powerful, more engaging. But your story must be true. Your story must be true. You can be philosophical, you can add to it, you can embellish is not the word, embellish kind of makes it sound a bit dirty, but you can dress up your story, you can um make it exciting to hear, make it exciting for people to engage with, but it has to be true. Your story has to be true. Another thing that your story needs to do is that your story has to be um it has to be you have to take be responsible with the way you tell your stories, because you are dealing with people's emotions, it's very easy to manipulate people. And the purpose of your story should never be to manipulate people. People give selling a bad name because they feel that um selling is manipulation. It's like you're manipulating someone, trying to like make them do what they do not want to do. But basically, if you really want to sell and sell in a way with integrity, selling, I heard someone say not long ago, and I actually have it written somewhere. Selling is just helping somebody to make a decision about something that's going to benefit them. That's just it. You're helping someone to make a decision. The decision comes from the person. So you're not trying to manipulate them. You're not trying to say, oh, you were going in this direction. I'm going to make you go in this direction, you know. So, but basically, you cannot go wrong with being yourself, and you cannot go wrong with telling the truth. Because the thing about it, like this in this situation, at the end of the day, the people will get caught out. The person that's selling the lie gets caught out. There's a way that people don't just have a way of sniffing out, they just sniff out something like, there's something off about this person, or there's something off about this, the way this thing is going. No, it looks too good to be true, or it looks too, polished, or it doesn't look authentic. People have a sense of these things, you know. That's why I keep talking about Simon Cowell, because Simon Cowell started out as this very transparent person that, he was trustworthy because he was, he didn't, he, he would say the things that everybody else was thinking. So they were like, if somebody comes and they are a contestant and they're standing in front of Simon Cowell, they know that if he tells them they are good, they are really good. If he tells them that they are bad or they are rubbish, they are really rubbish. Because they know that he would always tell the truth. So that's why I keep referring to Simon Cowell. He's always been authentic. So there's that, being yourself, being authentic. People always know. People always know. I don't know how, it's a kind of instinct, but we know. Even when something looks right in 99.999%, but there's just something, there's just that little thing, something, and then later when they now find out, they're like, I knew it. There was just something that was just not right about that. Yes, people have a way of being able to sniff out when somebody is not telling an authentic story. Now, because we are in the online space, once in a while, you find people, and I'm sure you might have seen this happen. Sometimes somebody stumbles upon a story that they tell and it really resonates with people. So maybe like you, somebody came and was sharing about something, maybe they were very vulnerable or something, maybe they were even crying on the camera and all that, and it just made people start reach out to them and all that kind of thing, you know. You then find that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes people like, oh, okay, I got a million views because I cried on the camera. Maybe I should keep crying on the camera. Is that really what you want to do? So you want to be authentic. If you're going to cry on the camera and it is the truth in quotes, go ahead and cry on the camera. I mean, we will cry with you. We will, whatever. But if you try to milk those kind of things by kind of like trying to manufacture that um that experience again, people would sniff it out. We've seen it happen. If you look around, you'll see it happen. You're like, they do that and then they repeat it, because obviously you want to repeat what works. That's what we know in the online space. But you have to do that thing with care. If for instance, maybe you shared something showing your kids, but your kids, your business is not about your kids, but you shared something showing your children, and then for some reason that is what made people, like that particular post, you know, by all means share something again about your children, as long as it goes with what you are talking about, but if if you are trying to do that thing or trying to milk something or trying to, what's that word now? To stage something, to stage, kind of to say that it looks staged, it looks like, like reality TV of these days, it's like it looks fake. People will tell, people can tell. So yes, you want to repeat what's worked, but you want to use those tactics with caution. Yeah. So, which brings me back again, and I'm going to say it again, tell the truth. If there's anything that you learn from here, if you are doing storytelling, I was talking about email marketing. For email marketing, they teach sometimes you learn about different kinds of emails that you can sell, and I will mention that I have an email marketing workshop, email writing workshop actually, where we are going to learn seven storytelling and copywriting hacks for writing emails. And there are just hacks and there's certain kinds of stories that you can tell, And one of the questions that people would always ask is, can I make up the story? And the answer to that is no. Do not make up the story because you can find your stories anywhere and you can make your stories good, and that is one of the things that I'll be teaching on the 3rd of September, 4 p.m. It's a paid masterclass. We've not decided on price yet. $99, $9, $49. It doesn't matter. We will. I'll send you the detail and put the link up once it's out, maybe by tomorrow. But basically, we have a masterclass for email writing. So basically, when you're writing email, obviously, if you are running a company or you are a coach or you have a shop or something, you want to be sending emails regularly. You want to stay top of mind. But at the same time, you cannot be always saying, oh, buy my thing, oh, buy my thing, oh, buy my thing, oh, buy my thing. So you have to engage. And one of the ways to engage is storytelling, which is what we're talking about. And obviously, storytelling can be about anything. So it can be about major things, minor things. There's this thing that they talk about Seinfeld, the show, where you can talk about nothing. Basically, an email that's the Seinfeld email is like an email that talks about nothing. So you talk about nothing, you talk about everything, you talk about something specific, whatever. Whatever it is that you're talking about, it must be true. If it is true and it is you, then go for it. If it is true and it is you, then go for it. And then you learn the way to make it engaging so that somebody who starts reading your story, becomes interested, and they want to read the rest of the story, and then you're able to do all to achieve all the things that storytelling does for you, which is to attract people, like, connect with them, nurture them, build that trust, that loyalty, just entertain them, or just, um, make their day better or make their life better. So so that is the those are the things. So here are three questions to guide you when you are being a storyteller. The three questions, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. One, is it true? Is the story true? Do I have the listener's best interest at heart? And the third question is, does it show that I have the listener's best interest at heart? So it's one thing to say, yes, I have the business, the listener's best interest at heart. But it's another thing to say, are you able to show, do you find a way to show that you have the listener's best interest at heart? So I have a question here. It says, how do you stay authentic and vulnerable? People say try everything and find out what works, then keep doing it. Yeah, so you obviously, one thing that I'll always say when it comes to anything that has to do with being on the online space, or saying things or doing things online, nobody can really tell what works. You have to look at it as a test and experiment. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you have to model what works. I mean, like when I looked at the video, you could tell, you can tell the tactics, because we've learned all these things. You can tell the tactics that people use to, maybe they come, they tell a sub story, because there's some things that people, like I said, when you're telling stories, you're dealing with people's fears, you're dealing with the things that trigger them, you're dealing with the things that um they are struggling with or grappling with at that point in time. So if you stick to that, you are able to make that connection. And once you make that connection, then you can take them wherever you want to take them, or rather, yeah, wherever you want to take them. So, like I said, you have to have that sense of responsibility. If not, it becomes manipulation. So the question, like you said, how do you stay authentic and vulnerable? Basically, be yourself. Be yourself. If something works, then you can repeat it as needed. If it is just being strategic, if for instance I put up 10 posts on Instagram, when I go back and look at my analytics and I find that um, post number 7 works, I would look for make another version of that. It doesn't have to be the same. I don't have to say the same thing, but I will see, okay, this is the reason why this post works. Maybe I should do more of that. Or I showed myself while I was talking while I was cooking. Okay, maybe I'll make some more videos talking about other things while I'm cooking too, or while I'm doing something else. Yeah, so I'm doing two things. So because that all is another thing where you can use to keep attention. I'm sure you might have seen some. I think I need to even try one of those as well. Maybe when I was putting my lipstick out, I'd be like, hey, so hi here. So if you are doing that's this is just a tip, by the way. Like if you're doing a video, you're talking on video, and you're doing something else in the process, it helps keep people's attention. So if you are doing your makeup while you're talking about marketing or about um, Facebook adverts. So two different things. So, or you're cooking at the same time as you're talking about child care, or how to keep your house clean or whatever. So basically, doing something while talking about something else keeps attention. So that's just a pro tip, by the way. Yes. So let me go on. Have I finished? Yes, I think I have. So, do you have their best interest at heart? And can you show, or yes, can you show that you have their best interest at heart? I mean, it's one thing to say you have their best interest at heart, but can you show? Is there a way that you can show that? You know, and you cannot get wrong. You cannot go wrong with being yourself. You can't go wrong with being authentic. Obviously, you want to, you can do high production. I mean, like for instance, when I came here now, I put powder, I put lipstick, I put this thing. I even when I was coming on, I discovered I could do camera settings where I can touch up my appearance. I'm already put powder, but I'm like, let's see what this appearance touch up looks like. So this is not really what I look like. I put a bit of a touch up just to soften my features and all that kind of thing. So you can do that, but it's still me. I'm the one that is still here. So you can do all that. It's not. I'm not being inauthentic by doing those things. You are not being inauthentic by making the production. Like for instance, I keep saying I need to stop filming in this cave. I need to make a backdrop or bookcase or one of those nice things that I like seeing. Why don't I do it as well for the ones that are going to be watching me? But I'm like, okay, this is where I'm comfortable for now. Let me just do this, and maybe when I sort out something, then I might be able to put a backdrop or whatever. So but basically, when you do all those things, those production things, it's not like you're not being authentic. You are still being authentic. You are still showing yourself. If I put a bookcase, I'll put the kind of books I like on the bookcase. So as you're talking to me, as I'm talking to you, you are seeing the kind of books I like. So you are also getting to know a bit about me as well. So that is just the point I am making. So I think I am done here. I'm trying to very strictly keep it to 30 minutes each time. But thank you so much for joining me. Join me next week for two things. Obviously, the email writing workshop. If you are a blogger, content creator, business, and you know that you need to, or you struggle to find what to write in your emails, or when you're trying to write your emails, you get stuck, and it takes you a long time to write an email. This would be a great workshop for you. So it's just the structure of emails, how to what to say, what to talk about, how to find topics, how to never run out of topics, and those 7 copywriting hacks. Very simple hacks that you learn that make your emails like really sharp and at the same time, you know, nice to read. People enjoy reading. People, easily people enjoy reading your email. So that's what we're going to be talking about at the masterclass, and that's what we're going to be working on at the masterclass or workshop. Um, so that is on the 3rd of September. I'll probably talk about it next week as well. Yeah, I'll talk about it next week as well. But then I'll have more details. And before then, if I have more details, I'll put them on everywhere. Secondly, we meet again next week at the same time, 7 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you then. If you have any questions, leave a comment. You can leave a comment wherever you are watching this from, whether LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Leave a comment. I will check, and if you have a question, I will address that question before we meet next week. So have a good evening, and thank you very, very much for joining me. Bye.